Good evening, guys. Good evening, guys. This is AB Boxing News with
Southpaw Mellow.
and me, the urban legend, the nose hunter, the body snatcher and the nose hunter, live
That's
on Bars and
it.
Boost Radio. What's going on, Mello?
What's good, bro? What's good? I was out for 2 weeks. I had COVID, but I'm back. I'm good.
Oh man, you had the Rona.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
man. I was sparring with the Rona for 10 days, man. Locked up. But I'm back.
At least you beat it, man. How'd you
That's
feel
it.
with it?
I was just tired. Man. I literally slept like the whole 10 days.
Damn, that's how I felt when I had it last year too. So hopefully I got immunity to it. So no problems here, man.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on in the world of boxing, man? It's been a lot of craziness going on, man, with this with the Trilla and the fights coming up.
It's fight week, so we got Emmanuel Navarrete ready versus Christopher Diaz for the WBO featherweight title.
Okay.
And the co-main event is Edgar Berlanga versus Desmond Nicholson.
Oh, Desmond.
Desmond Nicholson.
Yeah, I can say Desmond. I'm Desmond.
Desmond, yeah. See, I'm next to you.
My boy, at 168, my boy, Devon Lee, had a close fight with Desmond Nicholson. Real close, Desmond Nicholson won. So yeah, he is a good fighter. He's a good talented fighter. It could be a good test for him. We'll see. I mean, maybe Berlanga could pull it off.
You think he's gonna continue his 1-round knockout streak?
No, no.
So Nicholson is gonna end his first-round knockout streak.
I think he can. I think with footwork and generalship, we're gonna start seeing Berlanga. I know for a fact Berlanga can box. Berlanga has good boxing skills. He's not just a puncher. People don't understand. I've seen Berlanga spar cruiserweight. He's a very strong super middleweight. He has good ring intelligence. He has decent boxing skills. He has good decent footwork for a 168-pound guy. We'll see him box, and then people will say, "Oh wow, he's not just a knockout artist." Do I see him getting a knockout? Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say third round.
See, it's a blessing and a curse when you have that knockout power, because now you get the skeptics.
Yeah.
Oh, he just knows how to knock people out. He just got power. What happens when he can't knock somebody out and they take him into the later rounds? He don't have nothing. He's a one-trick pony. So then now, you got these skeptics. They don't really know Edgar Berlanga's whole skill set. Nobody's seen it yet.
Only people that seen Edgar Berlanga's skill set, and I was grateful to see it when he was sparring cruiserweight that I know. He is very skilled. He can box. He has a decent jab. He's very explosive. He has good hand speed, good coordination, pretty good defense. A guy like that, you would have to have good footwork, good ring generalship, and make it very technical with a guy like him. You would have to smother him on the inside. You just couldn't go in there and respect a guy like Edgar Berlanga. You just can't respect him, because once you respect him, he's going to knock you out or try to knock or hurt you.
And don't get touched.
Yeah, even if you do get touched, the thing about it is that I think those guys feel his power and they know what he can do, and I think they over respect him too much and then they get caught.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give a guy a respect like that. You have to just go in there and fight. I mean, there's nothing. You have to try to outbox him. You have to definitely try to make it technical and try to see what his tool bag has.
Mm-hmm.
Try to empty Berlanga's tool bag, but we haven't had a fighter yet that can empty his tool bag. Am I sold on him? Yes and no. We'll see what he can really, bring to the table at Desmond Nicholson. And, I think this fighter will be a good test for him skill-wise. I think he'll show another layer. He'll go 3 rounds. I think he'll stop him early. I don't think it'll be a first-round knockout because of, you got to be there to get touched. And I think Desmond Nicholson has good footwork.
I like Berlanga and his team because in his last fight, it might have been the last fight, second last fight. He still got the first-round knockout.
The KO Bellows.
But his trainer, told him to do something. He didn't do it. So he had to bang out push-ups.
Yeah.
Right afterward. You saw that, right? Yeah. I had to bang out push-ups because I didn't listen to my trainer. He won, and they still had that pressure on him. And he's dedicated. So he's definitely going to go far.
And Berlanga has a very intelligent, coach, very intelligent teacher. I had a pleasure being in the gym a few times. I've sparred in the gym a few times against some pros and some amateurs. And He's got a right team behind him. He's got a good support system. If he continues listening, if he really listens in the long term, man, I don't see this dude really getting anybody at 168 beating him. I can see him fighting a Caleb Plant. I feel he might be one of the first guys to stop Caleb Plant. And I can say that because of the hand speed. He's got the footwork to keep up. He's a guy that doesn't really respect guys. But when you fight a guy like Berlanga, you can't respect him. You can't respect him because once you start respecting him, and you get any bit of doubt in your head when you feel his power, he's going to take you out.
You got to throw his rhythm off.
Rhythm out and make him frustrated. See, when guys like that, like a bully fighter like that, we seen it with Kovalev, who was knocking guys out and hurt
with
guys.
Body jabs.
And body jabs,
with
right?
Body jabs.
Exactly. So what you do Andre Ward. You get in his chest. You go to the fire. You come to the fire with a guy like a Berlanga like that, and you test it. You see how long can that fire burn? How strong is his mind? Can you break down his mind? Can you take away the power of skills and catch him with things he doesn't like, or make him do things he doesn't like, frustrate him, clench him, put your head under his chin and lift him up. You do things like that to get into his head. You have to get into his head, and we'll see how delicate is his mind.
Exactly.
So with that undercard, right? Who else is fighting on that undercard, if you know?
I didn't write it down, so I'm not 100% sure. But we also had a fight too. We had Boo Boo Andrade versus Williams. And what did you think about that? You get to catch it?
I heard about it, see some highlights. Boo Andrade did what he was supposed to do. He outboxed him.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to sell Boo Boo Andrade.
It's hard.
Because Boo Andrade, he does talk a little bit, but he doesn't have a big social media presence. I don't think he's there yet to demand a Canelo fight. I think he deserves it because of skills and resume, but he hasn't put himself out there to really be a sale. He can't sell. I mean, we like Boo Andrade. He can't sell. He can't sell half an arena out. And that's the problem with him. This is the reason why we've had Billy Joe. See, Andrade and Billy Joe would have been a good fight.
Sorry. On that other card that you asked me about, we got Jose Vargas on that card too.
Jose Vargas,
bro. I like him.
Jose Vargas is I like how he fights. He has good footwork, good ring generalship. He fights like a veteran style. He kind of fights like Shakur Stevenson in a way. Very good on his feet. Likes to do angles. He works off his pivot. He has nowhere to go but up. I think Jose Vargas will be a great contender. What is he fighting at? 130? Jose Vargas is 130, right?
I think so. 140, 130?
130.
He's a little
130 or 135. But Jose Vargas is he
got his tooth knocked out last fight.
He's a tough guy, man.
He's tough.
I think he's a boxer puncher that, he can box you a little bit, but when you dig him, put him in the trenches, he can fight. I think he can bang, he can brawl. He's a complete guy. I would love to see him and Shakur Stevenson fight one day. Shakur going up, and they both going up, maybe fighting at 130 or 135. Jose Vargas, I think Jose Vargas is 130, I believe.
Yeah.
Tevin Farmer's out there, and we can see that. What we got?
What about
Little B Hop?
That's what I was just about to say.
Chris Colbert and Jose Vargas. That could be something. I don't think they'll ever fight though. I think they know each other, so I think that's it's very hard to fight somebody and probably you sparred with in the gym. It's not the dynamic probably wouldn't be there. It's like me fighting. It's like me getting to a certain level in boxing, going professional, and fighting one of the guys I know that are like heavyweight. It just wouldn't happen. I wouldn't want to do it because you're not going to pull the trigger how you want to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, wasn't that with like Jacobs and this guy?
Peter Quillen?
Nah, there was somebody else that he was.
Peter Quillen and Jacobs was that was a tough fight because they sparred each other and they knew each other. So when he got the stoppage, it was like Jacobs just knew every habit. So he picked up on, okay, Peter Quillen reaches with his punches. He picks his foot up sometime when he steps to the right. He picks his foot up off the ground. There were certain habits that Jacobs picked up on. He said, "Yo, move on, Peter Quillen." Then when you get him on the back, like blast on him because he doesn't bend on the rope. See, that's Coach Rozier, that's little things he would pick up on. That's the type of educated Coach Rozier is. He looks at certain things like that. It takes a cerebral coach to know, like, okay, this fighter don't like going backwards. Make a miss with the jab. When he starts jabbing the body, slide back, parry it down, and then step back on him, and then do it again, and catch him, and then catch him with a counter punch when he's doing that, a left hook or a right hand. It's things that the cerebral coach takes.
Yeah. That real quick before we keep going on with these fight news, I want to just touch on the trainer fighter dynamic, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people say, like, let's say Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach is one of the best trainers in the world, which he is.
Yeah,
I like Freddie Roach, very knowledgeable.
I just want to see who he started from zero. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Then stuff like that, right? But people don't realize sometimes a great coach can't make every fighter great. You know what I'm saying?
No.
A great coach can't make a bad fighter great, and a great fighter can make a crappy coach look good.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So people gotta take that into consideration. A coach needs to really be versatile. You gotta switch up your school of training for that fighter. You can't train every fighter the same way. Everybody has different. I can't fight the way you fight. You like to fight long a lot of times.
Yeah.
I got to get on the inside because I can't reach you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a trainer would have to take all that stuff into consideration. Some people are faster, some people are slower, some people don't know, counters that well.
But the problem is too is like when you see those type of the problem with having experience with guys like fighters that think they can be coaches because they had a long resume of professional fights. Like coaching is a skill itself, like psychology, understanding body types. You got to make adjustments in your head with a fighter too, because you got to know how the mental makeup of the fighter is too. Like they get like me, I've never had official good corner. You know what I mean? Like I had fights with no corner. Sometimes, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but kickboxing, I never got no adjustments. I won the first round of something my boxing coach told me. I won the first round off of just my own ring generalship. So when I went back, I said, okay, well, tell me what to do now. Now I lost the second round. There was no adjustments. See, having a bunch of experience, only knowing to fight your way doesn't work with a guy that's like, okay, you're hurt. Now, how do I bring this guy back from the dead? How do I make this guy catch up? Maybe even stop the guy. How to keep this guy calm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's psychology that, has to be learned. And, that's it.
All right. Sounds good. Let's keep moving forward. We had Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight on Trilla. That was the most interesting thing that I've seen in a while.
I'm gonna say this, right? You trained in MMA, boxing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Muay Thai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And judo. I trained in I fought kickboxing. I did some MMA training. Did a little bit of grappling and Japanese jiu-jitsu. I didn't go.
Oh, Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I did Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is 85% ground, 15% stand-up. Japanese jiu-jitsu is 85% stand-up, 20% ground. So it's a little different.
It's more like a spin-off of judo.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like
the supplementary ground fighting instead of just the throws.
My goal is to break something, get off my back, and keep it standing.
Yep.
That's what Japanese jiu-jitsu is.
Okay.
BJJ is more advanced to me, a lot more modern, a lot more technical than, okay, we learn basic guard passes and hit a few hip throws and sweeps and a couple of breaks and knees to the head and kicks, because it's more for me, it's more for the street. I would do BJJ instead of Japanese jiu-jitsu for sport, but besides that, Jake Paul, I will not give him credit for that win, fighting a wrestler in boxing. A guy that looked like he didn't move his head, his feet. He looked like someone had a remote control on a video game and it froze.
You saw his body?
Yeah, he looks like a substitute teacher.
And who comes in on the first round? We would just talk about this in the car.
Yeah.
How do you start off when you sparring somebody you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Stay tight.
Hands up.
Read them out. Figure them out.
Yeah.
Pick up, patterns. Then if you feel like, all right, now I can play around, put my hands down, he came out with his hand straight forward, which is that's a very MMA thing to do. You know, you got the smaller gloves, and people are you got that wider range, so people are more leery to step in.
Yeah,
he's over here like this, right over the top with the right hand.
And the thing about it, he's doing MMA stance or shoot fighting stance, and he can't kick.
Squared.
And
he's more squared.
He's squared, and he can't kick. So
he's a bigger target.
Jake Paul being a bigger man, he's gonna throw overhand right. He's gonna throw left hook and overhand right.
I ain't gonna front. That overhand right was pretty nice.
It's looked pretty nice against a guy that don't move.
If I would have had my guard up, he wouldn't have put me down with that though. I'm just saying.
Anybody with a good lateral movement, a good jab will get Jake Paul thing. When he bury his head and throw it overhand right, step out the way, put your hands out and shuffle and get back in the middle of the ring and make him box. That's not. See, this is the problem that I see with modern with the music entertainment industry and social media mixing in with boxing. It's destroying boxing. And the problem is that the fighters are co-signing on it, and the veterans in the fight game are co-signing on bullshit. And it's going to hurt boxing in the long term when you have young fighters that can't even get a basic payday.
Yep.
Because it's all about Instagram likes. The rap game and the fight game is pretty much being the same. And it's a sad day. It's a sad day in boxing.
So let's talk about that Trilla card for a little bit. Now that watching that Trilla card just made me think more about the Teofimo Lopez fight that's coming out because he's fighting on Trilla too. They had a whole bunch of music performances. They had Oscar De La Hoya a little bit feeling nice too much.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Oscar De La Hoya was the only fighter up there?
He was
the only fighter on the panel. You had Crime Faces from Instagram. You had Snoop Dogg. You had who else was up there? Oscar De La Hoya. Crime Faces barely said anything. So, I think I Triller, I guess it's nice to have all these promotion companies. You kind of prevent monopolies from coming on. You know what I'm saying? You build competition, so that, these companies might be forced to make better fights. But I think Triller, that was like a dry run.
Yeah.
And I feel like they have a lot to work on.
So I mean, Trilla is like, it's just, the problem is that you're using music industry tactics to sell boxing. I think that's horrible. I think it's going to hurt boxing in the long term because you're overpaying certain guys from social media.
Mm-hmm.
That lowers the value for fighters that are really talented and can go all the way. Like, now it's going to come to a point where, okay, you can't entertain and you don't got that many likes on Instagram. So what makes me want to pay you?
Exactly. So Jake Paul gets the knockout win in the first round against somewhat of a fighter. What's next for Jake Paul?
They're talking about him fighting Tyron Woodley.
Tommy Fury also.
Fury knocks him out. Tyron Woodley will get beat. Tyron Woodley will just get outboxed. I think Jake Paul.
You think Tyron Woodley will get outboxed by Jake Paul?
Tyron Woodley only has one gear. He's going to explode forward. He's going to try to throw power punches. He's going to be herky-jerky. He's an MMA fighter. He's a wrestler. Let's just keep it real. And he's going to fight another wrestler. He'll beat Tyron Woodley. He could probably hurt Tyron Woodley. And then they're going to put Jake Paul in and say, see, I proved myself. But when you look at the resume, it's a bunch of MMA fighters. At the end of the day, I don't feel like it's anything impressive.
Okay. Fair enough. I think Tyson Fury said if Tommy Fury would fight with Jake Paul, he'd jump on the card as well. So who knows?
Tommy Fury will beat Jake Paul. Tommy Fury would I don't know about knocking him out, but he would just give him a boxing lesson. Tommy, it will be a good win for Tommy Fury, but they won't have him fight Tommy Fury. He will fight Tyron Woodley before he fights him. Speaking about MMA fighter, Francis Ngannou, what's this guy from MMA? From
Francis
Ngannou?
Yeah, that guy got power though.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. When Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury said after he fights Anthony Joshua, he beats Anthony Joshua, he wouldn't mind fighting Francis Ngannou. Now, if that was in boxing, it'd be embarrassing. He would treat him like what's the what's the guy that Dylan White fought and Tyson Fury fought?
Povetkin?
Not no, the black dude from England. Usyk just fought him.
Chisora.
Derek Chisora. Tyson Fury would treat Francis Ngannou worse than Derek Chisora. He would treat him like Chisora, literally. No speed, off balance, just big and strong and moving and trying to throw something hard. It will fall into what Tyson Fury likes to do. He'll just counterpunch him and probably knock him out. I think he will be the first person to officially knock out Francis Ngannou.
Wow.
Fury has enough intelligence. Remember, he's 6'8". He's about 250 something pounds. He would catch him over the top. Fury would catch him with the right hand. He would stop him.
A lot of people say Tyson Fury has pillow hands, but when you in the heavyweight division,
how soft can his hands be?
You sit down on a shot. He was sitting down on those shots with Wilder, which he never does. Yeah, and he stopped him.
Because his coach told him, sit down. And you know what Fury said to him? He said, when I go to your body, you're going to be in and out, and I make you back up, you're going to be gasping for air. He said that a year before he fought Wilder again. He said, I'm going to back you up, and I'm going to make, before he fought him the first time, he said, I'm going to make you tired. And when I said, you're gonna crumble like an old building. He said, when I hit you in the body. And what did Fury do when he hit Wilder in the body? Wilder fell. He got dropped with a body shot. And I said, Fury knew what he was doing. He leaned on him. See, the thing about Fury sits down. There's still a 6'8" man that was 268 pounds sitting down on his punches. I don't care what people say with an 84-inch wingspan or 85, what Fury is. Those punches and that weight and those long arms. The power, I don't care what people say.
10-ounce gloves?
And 10-ounce gloves? Ooh. They're like, oh, how you put a dent in Wilder's head? I know how he did. He sat down, he turned his knuckle into his head. That's what he did. Someone a Bigfoot, 6'8" man.
People don't realize, right? You fought amateur.
Yeah.
We spar with 16-ounce gloves.
Yep.
You fought with 12-ounce gloves?
Yeah.
4-ounce difference.
Yeah.
You feel the difference.
Somebody tried to spar me with 10-ounce gloves in the park, and even blocking the punches hurt.
Yeah, and then on top of that, amateur gloves are way more padded than pro gloves.
Yeah, pro gloves are
so getting hit with a 10-ounce glove.
Yeah,
forget it.
I
could feel the difference between a 16-ounce and a 14-ounce glove if somebody hits me.
Yeah, I felt a 10-ounce glove, and I'm gonna say like a professional glove. The dude came to the park with professional gloves on, and I said, okay, because when it gets hit, it stings more. And the thing about it is like now, if you're let's see me, I'm the nose hunter, and I'm busting noses with 16-ounce gloves. So now if you just maybe give me a smaller, sharper glove, that jab is going to hurt a lot more. It's going to snap a lot harder.
And it's going to land at a higher percentage because it's a smaller object movement. Yeah.
And it's quicker. Yeah.
Oh, we had another fight too. We had the former WBC super welterweight world champion Tony Superbad Harrison and Brian Goodfella Perella. Fought to a split decision draw.
Terrible. Harrison beat him.
I saw Harrison win that fight too.
Like I said, nothing against Harrison, but I don't know. Maybe it was just bad judging and bad officiating. Harrison can't get a break. I do want to see a Charlo rematch. I want to see the best out of 3. He beat Charlo out boxing. Charlo stopped him late in the fight, and then we'll see what happens again. Harrison just has to stay on his game and stay tight. Can't play with Charlo. Charlo, even though yes, Charlo doesn't have the best footwork, but he still got power. I wouldn't sleep on Charlo because Charlo's good at countering. He'll catch you with something. You've got to make Charlo box. You've got to keep snapping his head around with a jab, and you got to stay consistent like Harrison did the first fight. So,
yeah, definitely. Did you notice anything off with Tony Harrison?
No, it was with Terry Harrison. I didn't notice.
No, right? I mean, I think he just recently lost his father too, right?
He lost his father last year.
We don't know if that could have still been
his father. What an anniversary of his father's passing was the day that he fought.
Yeah, so that had to be on his mind.
Yeah, so like I said, Tony Harrison. definitely still a problem at 154. I would love to see a guy like Errol Spence go to 154 and fight Harrison. I think that would be a great fight. We'll see how technical real Errol Spence really is, a guy that can really test him with movement.
Yeah.
And a guy just as big.
So do you think, since this fight was a draw, should they be a rematch?
No.
Definitely not.
No. I mean, it's the fans know what it was. Boxing knows what it is. I wouldn't waste time with it. Get him another fight with someone else that's more exciting. This guy's not on the same skill level as Harrison. I wouldn't watch it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I want to see him entertaining when he's talking more. When I see Harrison talk more, he can sell fights. We need an opponent that can make him talk at a press conference. Him and Charlo, too, was the most entertaining ever.
Okay. Fair enough. So we were talking about Berlanga before. You said you feel like his first round knockout streak is gonna come to an end.
Quick. It's gonna come quick when the level opponents. KO Bellows, old fighter, old veteran fighter, good resume. But a 40-year-old man. I mean, stand there. He doesn't have the legs to get out the way. So a young Berlanga is he's going to do with guys like that. Now let me see what he can do with what can he do with when he goes higher up level? What can he do with a Billy Joe? What can he do with a Plant? What can he do with a Charlo, big Charlo?
Ooh.
Can he do the same thing? Can he do the same thing with Benavidez? Can he,
Oh, that would be a good fight. Berlanga and Benavidez?
Yeah. Will he crack? We know about bully fighters. Will he crack when the pressure gets too good or the fighter gets too frustrated with a guy like Plant that uses his legs and throws a lot of punches and is teasing you and not scared of you? You know what I mean? May not be the biggest puncher like you, but he's touching you. And he's touching you round after round after round after round. And it's 7 rounds and he's touching you. And now you're arguing with your corner. I can see something like that where he's arguing with Coach Rozier. I can see him arguing. I can see him mentally breaking down. We've seen these type of fighters before. We've seen this with Kovalev and John David Jackson. We've seen Triple G leave Abel Sanchez. When you have just a puncher like that and a bully fighter like that, when things don't go your way, you want to leave the coach. You went all the way with Abel Sanchez, and then you switched up to Jonathan Banks. And I told to Jonathan Banks, you never questioned what you wasn't being taught. I'm not saying, Berlanga is lacking certain things, but I just want to see what his mental makeup is. See, the thing about it is that, is he a fighter that's believing his own height? Andre Ward has beat a lot of fighters that believed in their own height. Carl Froch believed his height. Carl Froch was tough as nails. And he met Andre Ward, and Andre Ward made him look like nothing. And he didn't knock him out. See, the thing about taking them punches or having a big punch, when a guy's there just to win and get the job done the best way and put on an elite performance, you got to worry about that guy because he got to be 2 times tougher to stay on program.
It's true. So, Oscar De La Hoya apologized for his commentary on Trilla.
He had no choice. What is he gonna? What could he possibly say?
Yeah. So he was a little off the wall a little bit, but it is what it is. Trilla pay-per-view buys were between 1.3 and 1.5 million. Do you think Trilla is good for boxing?
Trilla, I'm gonna keep it real. Trilla is a good platform for people that can sell themselves and can talk and box. Like I'm somebody, even myself, wanting to go professional, even at my age. I can talk shit. I can sell merchandise. I can put people in seats and so forth like that. A platform like Trilla is great because it has a WWE approach. I don't know. I mean, a guy like Nate or Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz because he's a bigger talker. And I say, yo, he said he got the best hands in boxing, MMA, blah, 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 blah. I build a storyline off of that. I sell tickets. Nate Diaz talk shit. I talk shit back and forth. We get interviewed. I say, yeah, you're punch drunk, you're washed up, you're a journeyman in MMA. Like I just talk smack to the dude. It's all set up. But fans buy tickets. Who is this guy on Instagram? Who is this? See, that it has its own lane. Would a guy like Jake Paul be a big contender and a champion? No. He'll be a champion for social media. He'll get paid. But it's messed up because he's getting paid more than guys that are actually contenders for belts. So that's kind of backwards. Maybe we need to lower that little pay cap a little.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. But we also had Regis Prograis fighting Ivan Redcatch, right?
Yeah.
The fight ended originally in a technical decision due to a low blow or something, and then was later overturned to a 6th-round TKO.
For Regis Prograis.
Yes.
What was your opinion about seeing that fight?
I mean, Regis did what he had to do. I mean, Ivan likes to just sometimes be a punching bag.
Yeah, he'll sit there and bury his head.
I mean, he likes to bang. He likes to fight on the inside and stuff. But he takes damage.
He fought the same way he did with Tevin Farmer.
Yep. What about Danny Garcia too? Danny Garcia was picking him apart.
He's just a tough fighter.
Yeah, he's just tough and rugged. But there's only so many shots to the head you could take before you start getting really susceptible to knockouts. Look at Roy Jones, right? Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Got a knockout. He moved up to heavyweight, right? Or something like that. He got knocked out, moved back down.
Well, he didn't get knocked out heavyweight. He got stopped and went back to light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Thanks. So he was a light heavyweight, got knocked out, right? Then he moved back down to middleweight, right? To do another fight.
Yeah.
And then got knocked out again.
Well, no, he stayed at light heavyweight.
Stayed at light heavyweight.
So he was getting knocked out at light heavyweight.
I know he got knocked out 2 times in a row within a few months. And then he wasn't right the same.
Then after his prime, really his kind of ended of his peak, he went to cruiserweight and he's got stopped by Dennis Lepdeb, who stopped him. And then he kept getting stopped at cruiserweight. Like I said, those punches accumulate. Roy Jones, I think he just stayed past his prime a little bit longer than he should have.
Okay.
So, I definitely think that was not really a good thing, man. Sometimes your body says one thing, but your mind says another.
Exactly.
Roy relied on reflexes.
Exactly. Like we were talking about Mayorga's chin. Mayorga had the craziest chin, and he would just entice people to hit it. He put his hands down and eat like he ate shots from Trinidad.
Yeah.
Crazy. He ate Trinidad's left hook.
And then De La Hoya fought him, and De La Hoya hurt him.
Yeah, but then he did that too many times. Then he was getting knocked out easy after that. Semi-easy. You can't be taking shots like that all the time and play.
But he's playing. But
who's the bigger man?
But like I said, man, he's Mayorga. Guys like that. Some guys don't have the best chin, like Fernando Vargas. But he still was risky.
Yeah,
and he'll put it on the line, even though he's chinny.
Fernando Vargas used to use a lot of hand traps. People always think about Loma with the hand traps, but Fernando Vargas back then was using hand traps.
Fernando Vargas was a great fighter, but he was just too risky. Like, he wasn't a guy with the best chin, and De La Hoya knew that. That's why De La Hoya.
But he liked to bang too.
But when he fought De La Hoya kind of mentally broke him because he realized, like, you're not going to get in my head because I know De La Hoya had an iron chin that never been cracked.
Exactly. So we also have Andy Ruiz versus Chris Areola.
Easy fight.
Andy Ruiz going to put him down?
I don't know about put him down, but Chris Areola had his time. I think it's a passing of a torch for a Mexican heavyweight. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think he has too much hand speed for him. That's my opinion. I just feel like it's too much hand speed. It's too risky for Chris Areola. Andy Ruiz is in better shape. He's going to be moving his legs a lot more. He's too technical. I just feel that it's just levels. I think it's if he stops him, Andy Ruiz, if he stops him, is going to be with volume. It's not going to be one punch. Andy Ruiz is going to use his hand speed. It's probably going to blow like a 3-punch combination and probably put Chris Areola down. I think he can do that. Especially if he goes to the body of Chris Areola, I think he'll wear him down to the body, come back upstairs, and wear him to the top.
Andy Ruiz. is looking in amazing shape. Have you seen him lately?
For who he is, yeah.
Whoo, man.
He
Looking
looks-
in amazing shape. That's because he got the title. That's it. He thought he was the man, which he's good. He's really good. Didn't take it seriously, was half-assed in his training, and Anthony Joshua beat him the second time around.
Anthony Joshua did a smart fight. I think Anthony Joshua was hesitant with Andrew Ruiz because he knows to me, Andrew Ruiz is a better boxer than Anthony Joshua. He has more in the toolbox. He has better defense than Anthony Joshua. He's got faster hands than Anthony Joshua. Joshua used his height and his legs. He knew Andrew Ruiz was out of shape. I don't know about a rematch. If Andy Ruiz goes through and starts stopping guys and really walking through, there probably will have to be a warranted third fight. It will probably, the fans will ask for it, or Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz. If Andy Ruiz beats Deontay Wilder in a devastating fashion, they're going to call out Anthony Joshua for a third fight because it's going to be warranted. Because the thing about it is, like, he stopped him in the first fight, second fight he got outboxed, and the third fight, there's a story behind it. Tyson Fury versus Andrew Ruiz. When they met up and they talked, we never know. We could see Andrew Ruiz versus Tyson Fury. That would be a very, very funny press conference. Probably one of the most friendly press conferences we've probably seen in heavyweight boxing because Andrew Ruiz is not a talker. Tyson Fury is a talker, but it'd just be funny. It'll just be a funny press conference. It'll be very entertaining. He'll talk about his weight loss and, saying that Andrew Ruiz is as small as a light heavyweight or a cruiserweight. He's not a real heavyweight. He's just a cruiserweight that gained too much weight. Like, Tyson Fury would really, he would dominate the press conference. It'll just be funny. I wouldn't take the press conference serious, but the fight will be very technical and he can rough up Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury or Batman? Remember he came in with the Batman costume with the Klitschko press conference?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yo, he's good. Yo, Tyson Fury could definitely sell a fight, man. I'm telling you. He's definitely good.
I watched a compilation of all his press conferences though. Like, he was talking about one fight he was like, "You speak English?" Like he said you're getting knocked spark out. Do you speak English? And I was like, he told him, like, it was a Romanian fighter that he fought. Like, Tyson Fury, he's good for the heavyweight division. I feel like Tyson Fury brought the heavyweight division back to being entertaining. These fighters, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, brought the heavyweight division back. Anthony Joshua was kind of boring. He's kind of like Klitschko. He's not. He's just clean cut, and he's kind of boring. So you need a Tyson Fury who's not the most disciplined, but he's not the most orthodox fighting. And then you have Deontay Wilder, who's very brash and
I want to catch a body in the ring,
but we need guys like that talk.
Yeah.
In the heavyweight division, Andy Ruiz is too nice. Joshua's too boring. So, hopefully we see him.
Nick Diaz. I remember he said something one time, right? He would say all this, like, crazy stuff at press conferences and to fighters, right? And he would always get, reprimanded by the UFC. And he told them one time, he said, "You guys want me to be a gentleman when I'm going in there to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
But now I got to make it civilized."
Yeah.
So how does that make sense? I get it.
It doesn't make sense at all. Like, I would, and me being a fan of the Diaz brothers, I like.
Shout out the Diaz brothers, man. They could fight.
I like Nate Diaz, but if it had to come to some money on the table and say, okay, we'll put this together and sell this, I would. Him being from California, me being someone like me being in New York, and him never having a professional boxing match, I would talk smack to him all day. I would, and honestly, it would be a point of understanding that it ain't personal. But the fact of the matter is that you're trying to sell tickets and get fans, and somebody has to be the good guy and somebody has to be the bad guy, or it could just be two good guys, and they're like saying, all right, well, Nate will be the perfect one to talk because he can talk trash in his sleep, and I can talk trash, I can say, you'll say things like, I don't care how many marathons you run, how much weed you smoke, all this stuff. This is boxing, and at the end of the day, you're just a punching bag. I would say things like that. But see, they don't realize, like, in the upper weight classes. That's needed. We need that in light heavyweight too. We don't have entertaining light heavyweights. That's why that light heavyweight division will always be a ghost division of guys that don't have any personality. One guy that I interviewed, Anthony Yard, probably one of the most entertaining light heavyweights because he has a persona. He can sell. That's how he got a Kovalev fight.
Yeah.
Marcus Brown is the most talented, not really a talker. Gene Pascal was probably next to Anthony Yard, and him and Anthony Yard are probably the most entertaining. Bivol's a robot.
Yep.
Bivol can't sell. Betevieve is just a puncher from Russia. We've seen those before. Talented.
Ivan Drago, that's you?
Yeah, he's Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago.
Who else is that light heavyweight?
If he does,
from Long Island, Joe Smith. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not the most entertaining guy. Big fan. But he gets the job done. But he sells himself because he has blue-collar work ethic. He's a tough, strong man. He doesn't really have to talk because he has the resume to back him up. But we need someone to bring him out. We need a light heavyweight that can talk.
Yeah.
Somebody can get him to talk.
Yeah.
Because if he talks, then it'd be like, oh, wow, this dude really is like the Tommy Morrison of light heavyweight. People got, heavyweight division is always going to be the top division when you have guys that can talk, man. Tyson talk. James Toney, even when he went to heavyweight, he was talking.
James Toney, you ever watch his sparring clips?
Yeah.
Yo, he talks the most crap while he's sparring you, and he talk press conferences, everything.
But the thing about it, right? That's part of boxing.
Yeah.
When you in the sport, it's a competitive sport. It keeps the morale up, keeps the spirit up. It practices you for what you get in the future. I call myself the nose hunter, the urban legend. I feel every gym I've been to, I bloody the guy's nose. And it's never been a gym I haven't been into. And I punched through dude's nose guard and they were bleeding with a jab. But that's how I sell myself.
Yeah.
If you don't have a persona or anything, it's another form of entertainment. Promoters want tickets sold.
That's the end game no matter what. Doesn't matter how good of a fighter you are. If you can't put asses in seats, you ain't gonna get great fights.
Yeah, you're not going to be sold because the promoter's not fighting in the ring with you. But he's going to make sure you get to having a fight and get you a good opponent. I do like the direction of guys. We do need a Jake Paul, and not because he's a good boxer, because he's teaching these fighters how to sell himself. You can't be an uptight fighter. I don't care how many amateur fights you had. I don't care how many times you won the Golden Gloves. Nobody cares because at the end of the day, asses got to get put in seats.
Exactly.
You'll just be a born fighter being ready to get used.
Yep.
So
we got a couple of fights coming up.
Okay.
All right. So May 15th, we have Luis Neri versus Brandon Figueroa.
Okay.
That's the younger brother of Omar Figueroa Jr.
That was a good fighter.
I'm pretty cool with Omar Figueroa Jr. I'll talk to him from time to time. He's a really cool, down to earth dude.
Good fighter.
He usually always fights on the same card with his brother. Brandon Figueroa is a good fighter too. Omar Figueroa Jr. is I love watching him fight too. He switches stances. He's very awkward. He throws punches in bunches.
Those are good combinations.
Yeah, and his brother is same exact style.
The same cloth.
Same exact style. His brother is I see Brandon Figueroa either getting a late stoppage or just cruising to a unanimous decision. It's probably gonna be a stoppage though. I'd probably say like 8th round, 9th round.
Yeah, because those guys are lower weight class, so they gotta throw a lot of punches. He's gonna catch him with something, probably an exchange.
They sucker you into Figueroas.
Yeah.
They sucker you into a gunfight, a close gunfight.
Yeah, because you'll back up to the rope or back up, away from the middle of the ring and they catch you with something.
They have great cardio work ethic, man.
Yeah, they always look in shape.
Mm-hmm. So then May 25th, we have Nordine Dubali versus Nonito Donaire.
Yo, shout out to Donaire for having a second wave to his second career. Like Donaire's literally.
They thought he was down and out, and he came back. He was supposed to be a torch passer, and he's coming back up.
The problem was, I think they put too much pressure behind on there because they wanted him to be the new American Pacquiao. They wanted him to be the next Pacquiao, and kind of Rigondeaux kind of pulled, kind of stopped the momentum. Speaking about him, he's a guy that beat him. Rigondeaux's got a fight coming up this summer too.
He does, yeah. We get to that. That's a little bit more in.
Yeah.
So June 19th, we have Jamal Charlo versus Juan Montyo.
You know that he has Mark Breedlin on his team, right?
Charlo?
Yeah, 160 Charlo, Jamal.
Oh man, yo, Mark Breedlin is good.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in camp with Wilder and everything. They're trying to throw some dirt on his name, but Mark Breedlin was a great fighter.
Yeah.
And he's very knowledgeable. This guy is very knowledgeable. He knows boxing.
He can get both Charlos to move their feet a little bit better. I feel I'm a Charlo fan, but I feel like Charlos just need to work on that footwork. I think if the Charlos can move a lot better and punch and move better, they'll be unstoppable. I don't see anybody beating them because they got the counter punches.
They got the counter punches. With the Lubin fight,
yep.
You saw that? He shoulder rolled, deflected it, and then came right back with the uppercut.
And the thing about they got the killer instinct. So killer instinct plus better movement.
And they sell fights.
They sell fights. They can talk.
They sell fights.
So Mark Breedlin, with his expertise and being a fighter that had good movement, I feel like he can improve their movement if that's on the agenda.
So on June 26th, we have Gervonta Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios. And in the co-main event, we have Erickson Lubin versus Jason Rosario.
What's your opinion about Tank going up to 140? How do you feel he will do it?
He's short. Right? He's really short.
5'5".
And
5'5.5". He's about the same height as Pacquiao.
But yeah, see, Pacquiao did it. I think Tank can do it. A lot of people just look at Tank's power and they don't see he actually has pretty good footwork, pretty good. Even when he has his hands down and everything, you notice he has good basics.
He has better footwork to me than Lopez.
He has good basics. You ever see? Put his hands behind his back, but he still throws everything crisp and everything. That's what we're talking about in the card.
But Davis,
you get the basics down, and then you could do all that playing stuff.
See, Davis has those things that people don't see. And shout out to Coach Mustafa. When I always go to his gym, we always talk about Gervonta. They don't realize he does little small things, like he parries your shots, like he rolls off your shots, he works off his pivot. He goes lateral when he has to. He rips you to the body when he knows how to weigh you down going backwards. Has you going backwards. He knows how to deal with a guy. Like when he fought Leo Santa Cruz, he knew he was a smaller man. See, they say, "Oh, Tank got touched a lot." Tank wasn't worried about Leo Santa Cruz being a smaller man coming up. He knew Santa Cruz don't have footwork. I'm gonna walk Santa Cruz down. I'm going to make him fight in the pocket, keep him confident, and I'm going to catch him with a counterpunch. It's a brilliant thing. This is what you do to a smaller man. Tank's short, but he's a bigger man.
Yeah, he is.
So you got to understand, Tank in the gym hurting light heavyweights. He's hurting guys my size. He's not his intelligence behind that power. It's like a pit bull. You've got a pit bull. Just because a pit bull can bite hard doesn't mean it's dumb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's very explosive, very athletic, and he's constantly working. Yeah. He's constantly working.
He's definitely.
Do you ever really hear of him Broner stories? Him getting into too much trouble? I mean, he got into trouble a few times, but I mean, not like Broner or anything. I feel like he's still young, and I feel like
he's a little bit better than Broner, but he's got that deal. He's got that accident where that crash. When he hit the person's car. So it's.
And then he had that little domestic thing, but I mean, he's good though, and he still has enough time right now. He's still young enough to, as long as he keeps good people by him, he can turn it around.
He's in his prime right now, so he's turning 27. So he's really got to buckle down. Like he has to really buckle down and really get to it, because if he doesn't, we can have a Broner story by 30 years old, and he's just shot. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel with
so Tank, shout out to Tank.
Yeah.
Stay focused, Tank. Keep knocking him out, bro.
Exactly.
That's it. So on the co-main event, we got Erickson Lubin and Jason Rosario. I think this is a good fight.
That's a great fight.
Erickson Lubin, I feel like he kind of got cheated out of trying to show off his skills with the Charlo fight. He got knocked out too quick. He got too careless. I think if Erickson Lubin wins, we got a call.
We got a nice call. See what's up.
Thank you for calling in. Who am I speaking with? Antonio.
What's going on, Antonio?
What's going on, guys? I had to ask you a question. So, because last week, they had the big announcement just hours before, AD Watching podcast was on. Showtime releasing 9 cards in a 5-month span. I hear, we talked about it just briefly last week, and I hear you guys talking about Tank Davis right now. And I just wanted to ask you guys, out of all the cards, the fight, 9 cards, what fight do people are sleeping on that we should be talking about more? Because I have one in mind. I wanted to hear you guys. Okay.
So these are the Showtime cards here?
Yeah. I'm talking about the release last week, the nine fights, 9 cards.
Oh, with
Louis Neary,
Okay, yeah. The Charlo, Davis. It's hard. It's hard to pick which one's gonna be the best because they got a lot of good fights here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think Rigondeaux is boring. I like Rigondeaux being, I'm southpaw. I love slick southpaws. He got that Cuban style of boxing, very technical. David Benavidez is fighting Jose Uzquegari. Yeah, that Benavidez is really showing off his skill set. He's growing. Charlo versus Brian Castano. A lot of these fights are good.
What's the fight that people are not talking about?
Rigondeaux.
The Rigondeaux fight?
Absolutely.
The one that catches my eyes, I like the Lubin versus Rosario, and I feel like if Lubin wins, he should try to get a rematch with Charlo.
Yes, I think everything is set up for that direction. I feel like Charlo pulls out the win. Castano's a true warrior. If Charlo takes care of business, and Erickson Lubin, aka the Hammer, he takes care of business, I think all roads lead to that fight being next.
I agree. That was the fight that caught my attention when I saw that.
But I will say,
I feel like that fight not being talked about enough.
I think Benavidez and you got to see is a very, very underrated fight. This is a tempo-changing fight at 168, where if he knocks out you got to see in a devastating fashion, he's going to be the boogeyman of 168 because it's going to be on one side Benavidez, and then on the other side we're going to have up and coming. We just talked about it, Edgar Berlanga, and then we have the guys with all the belts like Plant, Canelo, and Saunders.
Well, I gotta say this. I gotta be honest. When I seen this 9-card 5-month event, Showtime releasing, Showtime Cards, when I seen this 9-card, 5-month release, schedule, I'm a little disappointed. I gotta be honest with you because, just think about it. Just briefly, who is gonna be the fighting? Plant's left over, and he hasn't fought in 2 years. For me, it's hard to give credit. And then as far as French and Edgar Berlanga, whatever you want to call it, actually Jesse Hart just recently talking a lot, and all roads lead if Edgar takes care of business Saturday night, scheduled to be the co-main event June 12th for Shakur Stevenson MSG. So actually, if he comes out fight Saturday clean, it seems like Jesse Hart and Edgar Berlanga are going to fight each other, which is a good fight.
It's a good fight. And And like I said earlier, this Deadman Nicholson will I feel make Edgar Berlanga show his boxing tools, and him boxing just being a puncher.
Definitely. I look forward to this Saturday fight. As you check out on the YouTube, 80 Boxers YouTube. I personally told everybody I break down Berlanga versus Nicholson, and I break down which I think the fight this Saturday, the main event. Navarrete is fighting. I think it's a fight people are sleeping on as far as the main event because the guy that he's fighting is very solid. And Christopher Diaz for Steven over a year ago, but there's no shame in that. He was on a high level. So I think people are going to be surprised about Navarrete Diaz. I see that fight being jammed action packed this Saturday.
Okay.
But I do agree with you guys. I agree with Southpaw Mello, Hammer, and Rosario. I think that's a truthful fight, in my opinion. And I think, just real quick, I just think Benavidez fight twice a year. I expect you to fight B-level fighters. I'm tough. I'm a tough person.
Fair enough. I agree with that.
Well, we were just talking about also too, Berlanga and guys like that, and we were talking about the heavyweight division. So anything over like middleweight, we were just talking about how personalities have to sell these weight divisions. I said about light heavyweight lacking superstars and personalities, where heavyweight division is starting to bring that back. I see 168 really being the division that is going to jump over light heavyweight as of superstars.
Definitely. I think you make a good point, and we'll see. Time will tell. But guys, I want to thank you guys for having me, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
So, guys, that's it. We went over these cards here. We're about to wrap it up right now for the AB Boxing News podcast. Any last words, Des?
Nothing else, man. I'm just looking forward to great cards, man. I'm just looking forward to Rigondeaux fight. I want to see Rigondeaux back.
I agree with you with that. I definitely want to see Rigondeaux back. I feel like he has a lot of talent, and he gets the short end of the stick a lot of the times. And he's
been knocking guys out lately.
Yeah, he needs to just keep that momentum. But a lot of these Cuban fighters, you don't even know their real ages. He's up there. All right, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is another week of AB Boxing News Podcast brought to you by Bars and Hoops Radio. Everybody have a good night.
Good night. Okay, perfect.
That's it. We in there.
Finish right on time.